What's up, everyone? Sunnyvale here with the first Defiance draft for the Eternal Titans website. Of course, if you are not already checking out Eternal Titans for excellent content on how to get better at Eternal, I think you're making a mistake. Check it out, eternaltitans.com. Great articles from myself, Manu S, Kamado, Tobo, world champion Tobo, and the rest of the ET team. All right, so draft picks are up. I also wrote a short draft guide. They'll be linked in this video. So if you are having trouble getting started with Defiance draft, go check those out. And we are going to start drafting here. Now, we didn't get a bomb rare, but we did get a frost wave, and this card is crazy good. It looks like there are a lot of things, a lot of analogs to it that would make you think maybe this card isn't totally insane, but just its flexibility and its power on using on your opponent's turn to just lock down their attackers and potential blockers for 2 turns is very good. So it looks a little like Chill, looks a little like Flash Freeze, but you can also you can play it for 1 at fast speed to stun something. You can play it for 4 to stun 2 things, and you can play it for 7 to stun 3 things. And this is fast, so you can do it in the middle of combat. You can do it on your opponent's turn as they're attacking. Yeah, there's just a lot you can do with it. So we're going to take this. So just a few things about this draft format before we get too far into it. I really feel like synergies are what really matter in this format. If you can assemble a good Amplify deck, if you can assemble a good Renown deck, a good Empower deck, those are going to be more powerful than just having a bunch of good cards and good fixing. So really try to go in for the synergies. Another thing is I try to avoid Shadow. Like, I am not happy if I have to be in Shadow for this. Okay, so we're going to take a Shiny Finder here. It's not an insane card by any means, but it's good. It's a 3/3 for 3 is a good stat line in this format, and it does have a little bit of value tacked onto it, although honestly, Amplify on the Shiny Finder is not very exciting. Other good cards here. Loyal Falcon is actually very good. I'm just a little wary about starting with a Frost Wave and then following it up with a Double Justice card, but I think that's the best card in the pack. Power Breach Sentinel is very good. Actually, you know what? This is very strong. So this doesn't seem like it's that exciting, but playing the top power of your deck, it gets the power into play immediately, and then you're less likely to draw power in future turns. So if you can attack with the Power Breach Sentinel, you can do some serious damage. But I do love my just like small units that have bigger effects tacked on. I also like I like Prudent Summon Greed and Curator Spirit. They're good shadow cards, but like you can have good shadow cards and then not a whole ton to back it up. So like I think this is the best card. I think this might be the second best card. But I'm just gonna go with the Shiny Finder. Yeah. One more thing about this set is that you have to be aware of which faction combinations you're in. Primal Justice, not a good place to be. There's only one deck that supports those 2 factions together, and that's the Renown deck. Whereas if you're in Primal and Time, there's both the Relics Matter and the Amplify deck that cares about those. And if you're in Primal and Fire, then there are 2 decks that care about that as well, Renown and Amplify. So I think that I take the Shiny Finder or the Sentinel here. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Shiny Finder. It lets me play an aggressive deck. It's more likely to let me play an aggressive deck, and let's face it, that's what I really want, right? Alright, Reclusive Scholar is not bad as far as a Renown payoff goes. I think the best card here is, again, a Justice card and a Weaponsmith, so maybe we'll be going in that direction. There's also Lazy Fire Maiden, which isn't really a payoff for Renown, it's just a 3/3 for 3. And honestly, it's a pretty replaceable one. Seeing as there are a lot of weapons in packs 2 and 3 in this format, I'm going to go with the Weaponsmith. And then the Fixing is fine, but I don't think I want to take Fixing this early. You can definitely, if you take Fixing too highly, you can definitely run into the problem of having too many cards that are for fixing and just not enough playables. Okay, so here we have Aerial Spotter versus Fall Short. I like Fall Short. Spotter's fine as far as a renown payoff goes, but there are better ones. And Fall Short is removal, and there's not a ton of removal in this format. There's some, but not really enough if you ask me. Okay, well, I'm going to take the Sauropod. This is a very strong card. Pistol Whip is a fine card in the Renown deck. It enables Renown, but yeah, it's it's not insane. I'm obviously just stunning for a turn and giving +2/+2. It's a good tempo play, but there are definitely situations where it's not amazing. So I'll take the Sauropod. There's another Aerial Spotter. I think I'm going to go ahead and take that. I want to stay far away from all these shadow cards if I can. All right. This is an okay shadow card, but it's not insane or anything. Actually, you know, I'm going to take the fixing. Magnetic Sentinel is fine if you're in a deck that can support it, but also just 8-drops are difficult to play in this format. Okay, Token of Honor. This is the fixing that we want. This card's actually okay, but as long as your opponent... There are a lot of 5/5s in this format, which make a 6/6 weapon, like, very appealing. This card's okay also, but not insane. I don't want to take Meltdown necessarily. I'll just take the Frost Talisman. Probably not going to end up playing it. Huh, this is interesting. Okay, I think this pick is Begone. Begone actually turns out to be a pretty good way of fixing for Justice. I did say that I don't think that you want to be in the just like 4 or 5 faction powerful cards deck with good fixing, but that does end up happening. You do end up splashing cards sometimes. And because there are so many multi-faction cards that are powerful. And Begone's actually pretty good in a format where there's not a lot of removal. People are slapping weapons on things. And Begone is, in addition to being good tempo play, it also fixes you for Justice, which we might need. Okay, not really interested in any of these. I think that the Crystal Dirk as a Renown Enabler might be a little better than Spitfire. It's like, Spitfire is just so slow. It's absurdly slow. It's difficult to get value off of it. Huntsman is a very good card. Okay. Alright, let's see what we have here. Well, Long Barrel is fantastic for triggering Renown. We have not very many Renown cards, and the fixing is going to be really tricky if we take Long Barrel. It's also going to be tricky if we take the Stone Scar Maul. But the rest of these cards are just, like, not exciting, so I think I'm just going to take the Long Barrel. Well... Maul might be better. I have been very impressed by Maul in this format. Like I said, a lot of things that are 5/5s. So Maul kills those, and then if you can hit something that's smaller, if you can hit like a 2/2 with a Maul, and have it stick around to fight some more, that's pretty good. Yeah, Long Barrel's rare for a reason. Take that. Okay. Alright, Cudgel is a very good card. This is great for the Renown cards, like Aerial Spotter, Weaponsmith. So I think that's the pick here. The other option is like Wormstone, but I only have 2 time cards. It doesn't feel like time was particularly open. We got a lot of primal cards. I think that's the most, well, I don't know. I think that Justice was the most open in the first pack. But I could be wrong. We skipped 2 cards, but then we ended up with an Aerial Spotter, a Weaponsmith, and a Fall Short. It's difficult to tell. I think that one thing about this format is that signals are difficult to read, because the people passing to you might be in, like, 3 factions. So trying to figure out what's open can be difficult. Okay, I'll take the Cudgel. Cudgel has pretty high upside. Alright, Aegon's Choice. There's also a Lightning Strike, though, and I think that's really good removal in this format. This format, again, does not have much fixing. It doesn't have good fixing. It has a lot of fixing. It doesn't have a lot of removal. It doesn't have great removal, so, you know, you take what you can get. So, Lightning Strike, I'm pretty okay with. There's another Lightning Strike. I actually do like Icequake. Oh, there's a Quartermaster. Boy, there are so many... weapons in this format. You can really go off with Quartermaster, but I think it's a bit greedy to take it here. It's not like we have a ton of fire cards. It looks like we're really just going to be in a Hero deck, as odd as that is going to be, as odd as that may be. Lightning Strike's not bad. I mean, Deals with a lot of things. Quartermaster's so good, though. You know what? We could be splashing the primal. I would rather have Quartermaster and Long Barrel in deck. Okay, I would rather be just like Rakana weapons. That's pretty much the dream. Okay, so Watchman is good, but I'm just gonna take the fixing here. I think in these types of decks you tend to get enough 2-drops, and you want to be aggressive and not just sit behind a 0/6. Oh, Ruination Sledge, perfect. Okay, like I said, there are a lot of weapons. Ruination Sledge is just amazing in this format. Because there are so many weapons that, and then there's the Relics Matters deck, so there are a bunch of relics as well. Ruination Sledge can often get you a 2-for-1, and it can trigger Renown too, which is pretty nice. Playing a Ruination Sledge on Coastal Huntsman early on is a big deal. Okay, take the Warrior here. Could take the Sky Crew. I think that Sky Crew is worse in this format. It could just take the Longsword. But like Longsword's definitely on the lower tier of weapons. Could take Wisdom of Elders just for the draw too, but it's double primal and that's not great. I think I'll just take the Sky Crew. Still can close out games. Alright, we'll take the Axe. Don't think it's that likely that we're playing the Axe, but you know, it could happen. Bunch of nothings there. Ooh, Ganache. Hello. Well. I don't think that Ganache is that insane. As a 4-cost 7/7 tribute, that's very good. Don't get me wrong, it is very good. But being double time, I don't think we can really jump into here. This pack has 2 very good fire cards also in Welding Torch and Grand Acolyte. Grand Acolyte triggers Renown, which is insane. We're just going to take the Welding Torch here, though. I think the Torch is better than Acolyte. Of course, very strong in the late game. Ooh, Crowd Favorite. Okay, let's take a look at Crowd Favorite. We can get the Long Barrel, Ruination Sledge, the Copper Hull Cudgel. Ooh, these are all very good things. Like, Crowd Favorite just being at least a 5/6 in stats, but that you can also divide up other places. I think that's pretty solid. There's also Finest Hour, which I think is just fantastic in this format. Because it enables tribute. Also, it just seems to be very, very good in every format. This is a good one. We definitely need more units, so I think I'm just gonna lean toward the Crowd Favorite. Like Finest Hour is great, but if we don't have any units, it doesn't do anything. I'll take the Crowd. Well, actually, we might be splashing fire also. Well, probably gonna end up with some fire. Okay, I'll take the Crowd Favorite. Okay, ooh. Arcanist is very good also. Our curve is pretty high. That's something I've noticed from this format, is that curves tend to be kind of high. Like, the expensive cards are very powerful. So keep that in mind when you're building your decks. Okay, take the Porter. It's looking more and more like we're going to be in some sort of, like, Rakano decks just splashing the Primal. Okay, we'll take Seek Power here, not too interested in Aerial Ace. Ooh, Peacekeeper's Helm. Wow, this is really coming together. Some Strangers would be appreciated here. Miner's Canary wears weapons very well. Again, there's not a ton of removal in this format, so if you can just suit up a Miner's Canary, you can go to town on it. I think it's much better than in the previous format. I could take Violent Gust or the Curious. Curious is fine. I'll take this. We don't really have great ways. The thing about Violent Gust is it just takes out any flyer, but the problem is that not every deck is going to be playing flyers. You know what? We have Curious, like, has a few things going for it, but we could definitely be soft flyers. I'll take the Violent Gust. There's another Canary. I think this is the plan we're on. Just shoot up a Canary and go for it. Okay, let's see what we get here. Sierra's Beacon. This is very strong in the right deck, but we are not that deck. The Snowball on Mischief Yeti is actually surprisingly relevant. Cartographer is just kind of good value in that getting to draw and discard helps you do what you're trying to do. But on the other hand, a 2/1 that doesn't have any abilities is not that exciting in this format. I could also just take the Coastal Recruit. Pledge is a nice upside to the card. I think that's actually what I'm going to be doing here. I love Mischief Yeti. I feel like putting weapons on your 2-drops is not where you want to be in this format. Okay, Ruckus Rouser. You could also take the Grandfather's Axe, although it's not like we are starved for weapons. It looks like we're actually might be splashing Primal. I don't know. This looks like this could just be a 3-faction deck. We could splash. Actually, you know what? All these fire cards look like they're splashable. They're all weapons, or Oni Quartermaster, which goes well with the weapons, except for Long Barrel. That doesn't seem like something we can actually splash. But it might be. Okay, so I don't really like Oni Samurai. I actually like Court Mage. Like a 2/5 is surprisingly good, and then having the Pledge addition to that is nice. This is just looking like a big defensive deck. Grandfather's Axe is fine and enables, like, if you have good Renown payoffs, you can take that, but we actually don't have Renown payoffs. We have a couple, maybe? We've really just got weapon payoffs. Oh, there's a Coastal Huntsman. That's a good Renown payoff. Just as I was saying how we don't have any. So I'll go ahead and take that. Master Cartographer. Ooh, this is really good. Well, how much do I want to be stuck into 3 factions? I could also take the Fixing here. I am a little concerned about having enough playables. I think I just take the Fixing here, though. Like, trying to play Forge Master on 2 in this deck is just not realistic, and that's where you want it. The other thing I could do is take the Cartographer here, but again, Cartographer doesn't really help further your game plan. Just the body just is not that relevant. Ooh, Barrel Through is excellent. It also helps me fix, which is great. I would take at least these 2 cards. I would be very happy with these 2 cards. But anyway, we need to take the Barrel Through. I think that if you are in the Renown deck, you have to take every Barrel Through you see. Okay, we'll take the Mass Intimacy. I don't love this card because a lot of the times what you're... Oh god, there's another Barrel Through. I did literally just say you have to take the Barrel Through. But boy, a 3rd Huntsman would be a good time. I'm just gonna take it. This'll help our Fire Splash. And then this is... Okay, well this is a good card. We're not playing it, but... Yeah. Okay, so, like, as I was saying, paying 4 to turn something into a flyer is dangerous, especially if it has a weapon on it. And then, like, trying to pay 8 to do that to 2 units is not very realistic. I'm actually just going to take the Diplomat here. Silencing is actually pretty powerful in this format. I don't like that the Diplomat is just a 1/1, but, I mean, yeah, we're just... Some early interaction would be probably a good idea. Right, so here's another Renown deck. We didn't get any of the Beastmaster, which is the tri-faction common in these factions, and it's very strong. And I think people are starting to catch on that it's really easy to put together a powerful Renown deck. So it's no longer just like trivial to put together a busted Renown deck. People are taking those cards highly and not just passing them. I think I will end up playing the Diplomat just as a silence into 1/1. Yeah, I think the silence is, like, surprisingly relevant. This is what I was talking about. There were a few times where we took Fixing, and I think it's going to come back to bite us. This is probably, like, I don't know, a 19 power deck. We've got some expensive stuff going on. We've got a couple cards that we can either Spellcraft or Amplify. We really just don't want to stumble on power. And plus, playing more power lets you play more factions into... Well, we could play 18 power. We actually have a lot of Pledge units, which kind of count as power. We've got the Recruit, the 2 Court Mages, the Shiny Finder. Okay, I think I can get behind this in 18 power. Play the 1 Mass Intimacy. I don't think that this is really a Frost Talisman deck. I could play Violent Gust. That is an option. Yeah, actually the ground seems like it'll be pretty easy to stall out with this deck. Alright, let's make one cut. Copperhull Porter is kind of a nice 2-drop for this deck. Long Barrel's going to be ambitious, but I think it's worth it. With the 2 barrel throughs, we're going to be a lot better at splashing our fire cards. I could cut one of these Court Mages just for the additional power. But I actually like Court Mage's Body as a 2/5. That's surprisingly good in this format. Can I play 17 power? I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pledge units. 4 pledge units. I mean, it's kind of like playing... it's kind of like playing a little extra power. Okay, we'll do that. This might be a terrible idea, and I might end up cutting a couple cards, or cutting 1 card for additional power later on. I suppose we could Splash Time if we really wanted to, but I don't think that's the right thing to do here. And we've got a Seek Power too, so that's kind of cool. Our fixing is going to be surprisingly good for what we're doing here. I think we only need 1 Fire Sigil. Well, we might want the double fire, but like with the 2 barrel through, the Token of Instinct and the Token of Honor, I actually think that's going to be pretty easy to hit our Fire Slash, so I should focus on making sure that we have enough Justice and Primal Sources. So this is 5, 6, 7, kind of 8, 9, 10 Primal Sources, and 7, 8, 9, 10 Justice Sources. This is a little bit in the other direction. 7. Oh, and there's also the barrel throughs, huh? Okay, so I think we're actually pretty good. As long as we hit Justice, we should be able to hit everything else. And this has 11 Justice Sources. God, do I want 12? We've also got the Coastal Recruit as an emergency Justice Source. I think this should be fine. Alright, let's go with this. This is what we're gonna go with. Deck seems pretty strong, although it doesn't have it doesn't have Beastmasters, which is one of the better renowned cards. It's got a few Huntsmen, which is nice, and it's also got some nice weapon synergies with the Quartermaster and the Weaponsmith. So I'm looking forward to playing with this. Alright, I'll see you guys in game 1.